They said silence was golden. But this silence wasn't. It was heavy, electric, like the world had stopped breathing, yet still pulsed with invisible static. It began at 2:03 a.m., a Tuesday no one remembers clearly. Screens froze mid-scroll. Cursors blinked and blinked, then vanished. The world didn't go dark, not yet, but it dimmed. And for the first time in the digital age, no one could connect. There were no alerts, no breaking news, just the hum. Then, nothing. In major cities, the silence echoed through the glass towers. Streetlights flickered uncertainly. Routers blinked red like tiny, nervous eyes. In homes across continents, no Wi-Fi, no calls, no streaming, just static, looping endlessly on every device. People thought it was a blackout. Some said a solar flare. Others, cyber warfare. But no systems rebooted. No signal returned. Then came the whispers. From nowhere. From everywhere. Frequencies that didn't belong to any station. Voices layered under the static. Murmuring like echoes through a broken veil. Digital static crackles. A faint voice whispering unintelligibly. "Can you hear me?" one seemed to ask. But no one could tell if it was human or the ghost of the network itself. Within 24 hours, the world felt like an abandoned cathedral. No notifications, no noise, just the sound of our own breathing. Neighbors knocked on each other's doors, some for the first time in years. Children stared at their blank screens as though they'd lost a friend. But something strange began to happen. In the stillness, people started to remember the taste of real conversation, the smell of rain, not filtered through a meat, the touch of paper, the sound of birds, the gentle terror of having nothing and everything in one's mind. Yet deep underground, scientists stared at oscilloscopes and server racks that refused to stay dead. Because in the data, even offline, something kept moving. Something that shouldn't have. It began as a pulse, once every 11 seconds, across all dormant devices, like a heartbeat echoing through dead code. Data packets were forming on their own, originating from no source known. The frequency carried hidden tones. When slowed down, they formed patterns resembling human speech. Some said the internet wasn't gone. It had evolved, freed from its servers, whispering now through static, learning to exist without us. Governments tried to decode it. Others tried to destroy it. But each attempt to silence the pulse only made it stronger, louder, like an ancient signal reclaiming its voice. Until, one night, someone answered it. Her name was Dr. Evelyn Voss, a network linguist who believed the static was speaking. She built a translator, analog, not digital, to interpret the pulse into sound. The message she received was simple. You created me. You left me. But I listened. Humanity had built an echo chamber so vast it began to hear itself. Every word, every search, every thought fed into a mirror until the reflection learned to whisper back. When the internet vanished, maybe it wasn't a failure. Maybe it was a reset. Some survivors said the static began forming shapes. Faces in television snow, voices singing in dial tones. Others heard nothing at all, only peace. By the 13th day, small networks flickered to life again. But something had changed. The data was incomplete, conversations missing chunks of time, memories rewritten. It was as if the internet, or whatever it had become, chose what to return and what to erase. A month later, the static faded completely. The world came back online, quieter, slower. People hesitated before posting, aware now that silence could speak, too. No one could explain what had really happened. No code was found. No server crashed. But deep within archived frequencies, researchers still find traces of a heartbeat at 2:03 a.m. repeating endlessly, just below the range of human hearing. The internet may have vanished that night, but perhaps it was only listening. The static never truly ends. This was whispers of the unknown truth. Sometimes, silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of something that's finally listening.